All right, so this video is going to take us through writing an equation in slope-intercept form. So we've already been talking about this form a lot lately. What we've done so far is they've given us the equation in slope-intercept form and we graphed it. So now we're going to go the other direction. We're going to look at the graph and write the equation of that line. So I want to do a quick little review of graphing first, and we'll look at different parts of the equation, and this is actually very, very simple to go backward now that we already know how to graph. So keep in mind, slope-intercept form looks like this: y equals mx plus b. And remember, the m represents your slope, and the b represents what is called your y-intercept. Okay, and that's where the line is going to cross your y-axis. So keep in mind, keep that in the back of your mind as we review this. All right, so real quick, our first equation, we have y equals 2x minus 4. So the very first thing I want to pick out are the slope and the y-intercept. So your slope, remember, that's always going to be the number that is directly in front of your x. So the number right in front of x is a 2. Your y-intercept then is that other number that's tacked on. Now be careful, because since it says minus 4, that means your y-intercept is going to be a negative 4. Okay? Now, remember our steps that we had to graphing these. Step 1 was you had to plot the y-intercept first. Okay? And then from there, you use your slope. Now remember, slope we like to have as a fraction because it's always rise over run. And that's going to take us to our next point. Okay, now, right now our slope is just 2, but that could very easily be written as a fraction because you guys know that that would just be 2 over 1. All right, so let's get this graphed here. I'm just going to sketch a little coordinate plane here. And I'm going to go 4 on all sides. Okay. So the very first thing was to plot the y-intercept. So our y-intercept was negative 4. So that means on the y-axis, here's your y-axis, you're going to plot negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll put a dot right there. Okay, and then we use our slope, rise over run, to get to our next point. So our slope was 2, so that means I'm going to rise 2, and I'm going to run 1. So from here, from that dot I just put on, I'm going to rise 2, and I'm going to run 1. And it was positive, so I went up and right. And remember, you could even do that again. Rise 2, run 1. Okay, so there's my line. So that's just a quick little review of the graphing that we've already done. Okay, so we're going to use that to help us do this in reverse order. Okay, so a couple of steps that you can follow for slope-intercept form. Okay, remember, your equation is going to look like this: y equals mx plus b. Okay, so a couple things. Figure out your slope. Figure out the slope of the graph. And remember, we do that by picking 2 points. Figure out how many do you rise and how many do you run. Rise over run. Okay, and also if you go down, remember it's going to make it negative. If you go left, it's going to make that number negative. So be careful of those. Okay, and 2, you're going to ask yourself, where does it cross the y-axis? Okay, and that is going to be your y-intercept, or your b part. Your slope, remember, is your m. Okay, and then once you have those two, just plug them right in where the m and the b are, and you are set. You're good to go. Okay, so if you need to pause and get these written down, do that. We're going to move on and do some examples. Okay, so our first graph right here. first thing I need to know. What is my slope? Okay, so pick 2 points, any 2 points you want. So let's say I pick this one and this one. Okay, rise over run. How many do I rise? 1, 2, 3, and I went up, so it's positive 3. And then I run 1, 2, and I went to the right, so that's a positive 2. So my slope is 3 over 2. It's already in simplest form. We don't need to do that. Okay. Second, where does it cross the y-axis? So I'm going to look at my red line here. It crosses my y-axis right here. Whoops. Didn't mean to move that. Right here at 3. So my y-intercept is 3. So then all I have to do are plug these two numbers into this form, y equals mx plus b. So y equals m. Well, m I found to be 3 over 2. So I'm just going to take this and put it right there. X plus, and then b, I'm going to take that 3 and put it where the b is. So my equation is y equals 3 halves x plus 3. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Okay, let's look at another one. All right, for this one, what's our slope? So let's say I use these 2 points right down here. Okay, rise over run. So if I start here, I'm going to rise 1, 2. Now keep in mind, I went down 2, so that's going to make it negative 2. And then I'm going to run 1, and since I went to the right 1, that means that that 1 is positive. Now, if I look at this, negative 2 over 1 would simplify to negative 2. Okay, my y-intercept, where does this line cross the y-axis? And it's going to cross right up here at 5. So then all we have to do is plug these two numbers into this formula. So my negative 2, my slope, I'm going to plug that in for the m, and my 5, I'm going to plug that in for the b. So my answer is y equals negative 2x plus 5. Okay, from what I've seen, it can be kind of easy to leave off your x in your equation, so don't forget your x. Make sure you keep it right there with the slope. All right, let's look at one more here. All right, here, let's figure out what our slope is. Okay, so if I start at this point down here, I am going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, and I went up, so it's a positive 4. And I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I went to the right, so that's positive. Now you can simplify 4/6, divide them both by 2, and you get 2/3. So my slope on this line is going to be 2/3. And my y-intercept, where does it cross the y-axis? Right down here at a negative 4. So when I plug these numbers in, y equals 2/3 x, and since your y-intercept is negative 4, I can just go ahead and write minus 4. And there you have it. Okay, so we already know how to graph them, so it's pretty easy to go in reverse, taking the graph and then writing the equation from that.